And they don't have an internal clock like other roosters where they do their cock-a-doodle-doo in the morning. They just do it all the time.
Oh, really?
Including the middle of the night.
So every time that would happen, would you say something like, "There goes the rooster"?
No, I would not. I
crazy.
was in Kauai
They
relatively.
cock-a-doodle-do all the time.
Anytime I was camping in Kauai and I was getting woken up at 3 a.m. by roosters who didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, Joseph, get your roosters together and make them stop doing that.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah. Anyway, here's bottom 2 for the rooster. Matt Vaughan with an open ender.
Yep.
Well, not an open ender. Gut shot. Excuse me.
Got the overcard as well. This is a reasonable board to continue on for him, although it's not going to work out super great yet. He's going to need some help. Joseph just deciding between the call and the raise. He's going to play it soft. That's a great card.
There's roosters at the airport, Jonathan.
Are they flying the planes or are they just air traffic controllers? Rooster's going to lead here. Also without an internal clock. How much did he make it? Wow, it's almost like the rooster knows that Matt Vaughan's gonna have a fair amount of checkbacks on this turn, I guess.
It's the type of board that you would expect that.
Thanks. Here's black, sir. Thank you.
And Matt Vaughan goes from maybe taking a check or maybe barreling one more time to I don't see how he can really call. He can raise or fold. I think that's it.
Yeah, and raising is just kind of a stab in the dark.
Yep. He does block the nuts. And look at this. Matt Vaughan is going to put in the raise with the nut blocker.
All right, he's trying to actually play a little poker here.
I like it. He's like, you donk at me, I shove it down your throat.
He's a very violent man.
Rooster's hand is probably too good here to fold, although it is barely too good.
He is now in an uncomfortable spot for sure.
Yep. This lead puts him in that spot. Check calling would have been a much easier play. Well, if the rooster doesn't fold here, now when he leads, this has got to be one of the better hands he's going to show up with when he leads, I think. So
that, along with him knowing a bit about Matt Vaughan, knowing that Matt is a guy who has moves.
Yeah.
You can't be folding this hand against a guy who has moves.
I agree.
You can fold against some players. Just make a categorical decision that they just don't have a move here.
He does make the call. I think we have to call here and evaluate on the river, basically. Like if Matt bombs the hell out of it, we have to at least think about folding. Otherwise, it's going to be a call. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's easy to fold now, at least.
How crazy is that card?
It's going to be an easy fold for the rooster. But yes, Matt Vaughan makes the nuts. And
the only thing you can beat now are spades.
What a beautiful feeling in poker when you get called on a move like that and you do have like very few outs to a very good hand and you get there and you're like, oh, my whole perception of this hand has changed to how can I make all the happy money?
How much is Matt Vaughan going to bet with the nuts here? What do you think he should bet here? Like, he just got called with his raise.
He should be trying to get called by two pair or a strong queen, so I think something like 400.
I think he should go polarizing and rep the missed spades. Looks like he is going big. Let's see. Yep, he is. He's going very big.
Yep.
900. Joseph's the kind of guy who at least sometimes will make these calls. We've seen him do it before. This with weaker hands than this. That said, he can clearly only beat a bluff now. That was probably true before as well on the turn, but now for sure. When the board gets more polarizing, it shrinks Matt Vaughan's value range.
You don't have Jack 10, do you? You're kings, right?
He does call.
Wow. Oh, the king.
That was weird that Joseph said you have kings.
Yeah, it's
Kings is
interesting.
not a hand that I think is going to bet 900 on the river.
I don't know if kings will raise the turn either.
But they're certainly not going to bet 900 on the river. They just...
Kings
are sometimes ahead.
The rooster might be overthinking it on the river, thinking kings don't feel like they're good enough, and they block the nuts.
Right, but kings can beat king, queen, and ace, queen, and stuff like that. And just don't need to take a shot. Wow. DM5 and Matt Vaughan have picked up a little bit here.
Yeah, and now I don't think the rooster will be waking up Matt Vaughan when Matt Vaughan set his rooster alarm for. He's going to make him oversleep, miss his flight.
But will it be on purpose, or will it just be because he has no idea what time it is, like all the other roosters?
Intent doesn't matter, Jonathan.
Huh.
It's like GTO. It doesn't matter what your opponent is doing or has.
I mean, those things matter.
As far as your actions.
That was a huge pot we just saw.
Yeah, that was
when
big.
Matt Vaughan rivers the nuts after taking, from an equity point of view, a very, very tough shot
Yeah.
on the turn.
That's some Portland hospitality for Matt Vaughan right there.
Yeah. The rooster clearly feeling a little bit of pain. You can see it on his face. And he 3-bets the 5s. Not a normal play for the rooster at all.
No, not at all.
DM5, by the way, called with 10
Yeah,
suited.
it's not surprising me anymore.
He called the 3-bet, too. It's just,
He just feels invincible.
I mean, everything's working. He gets the button, and he flops the best.
Yep. It's easy when you're DM5 and you have 10-3.
There are days like this, where you just can't, nothing goes wrong.
Those are nice days.
I know. Just feel a little bulletproof. Big bet from the rooster. I don't see DM5 folding yet.
Well, no kidding, yeah.
I mean, another bet going in. It's going to be a little tougher to call.
Yeah, the 6s being paired doesn't really
No.
help DM5 in any way. It's pretty bad, actually. Can't hit a 3 against overpairs.
But the rooster is already in shutdown mode, it looks like. It checks back, and now there's an easy never fold spot for DM5 if the rooster takes a shot. He doesn't. I expect DM5 to bet for value now.
It's possible the rooster will make a frustration call here.
I don't know what he's supposed to be beating, except, he does call. Yep.
Yeah, that's just frustration right there.
He can only beat a weird float.
Yeah, because he doesn't beat 8-9. Oh, he does beat 8-9. He could beat 8-9 if...
Okay. Is 8-9 going to check the turn and bet the river?
That seems weird. Seems like a weird line. He doesn't beat 7-8 or 7-9. Those are better full houses.
Joseph lost I don't know what, $1,500 in that hand, and
Yeah.
and it affects the next hand,
Yep.
and it affects, and so then that
Matt Vaughan
1,500
just folded deuces.
he was under the gun.
Yeah,
It's fine.
but everybody's deep.
Everybody is deep, but if he probably thinks,
We're 8-handed and everybody's deep.
I guess he could limp the deuces even if he wants. I mean, look.
That's got to be superior to just folding.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially when the rooster might be tilting and there's some players who may overvalue hands.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Matt Vaughan's like, I just won with King 10 in a miracle way. You don't know me.
You don't know me.
Digital Dan with the raise, and as you see, the rooster's still tilting.
The
And
rooster is on full tilt right now.
Dan does flop best, but there is hearts for BMW Blake, excuse me. And
There's a 3 for the rooster.
Dan's going to bet, what do you think, like $140, something like that?
Yeah, it's a pretty wettish board. Looks like 150.
It's perfectly good sizing. This many players in, I think.
I don't expect to fold from Blake.
No.
Don't expect a raise either.
I think it's a very reasonable just call. Gets to be in position as well.
Is the rooster
If
going
the
to
rooster calls this,
gonna
we know
chase
he's
a
completely
3 or a
losing
6?
his mind. He's got $900 back. It's not worth it. And he
There you
lets it
go. That's good. Maybe the tilt is over now.
Yeah.
Maybe he got out of his system.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Safe-ish card for Digital Dan.
Yep. Queen 10 gets there. Jack 9 gets there.
I mean, there shouldn't be too many Jack 9s.
8-10 gets there.
That's not very much stuff.
Blake is capable of having all of those hands.
He is, but I think this is definitely a good continue.
Yep.
He only bets 200.
Blake snap calls.
Yep. Blake's going to snap call a lot, and it's a safe-ish
It's
8.
not the safest card in the world, that's for sure.
It's not a hard, it's not a straightening card. I'm not saying Dan should bet, but Dan is never going to fold on the river, right?
It might be a bet fold spot. You could consider it, because I think Blake's checking back weaker queens.
That's an interesting point. Let's see if Blake takes a shot here now that Dan checks. Blake is supposed to take a shot a lot with a hand like this in this spot.
I don't know. Dan might play an overpair just like this and never fold.
I agree.
And hands like ace queen make a ton of sense. I don't know if this is a shot taking spot.
Blake's going to. We know it's not going to work.
I would be surprised if it worked at
I
least.
can't imagine it's going to work. I would expect Dan's going to call quickly.
He's repping an 8.
455.
Dan is not calling quickly. Dan looks unhappy.
Well, I mean, an 8 is a reasonable hand for Blake to show up with, especially when Dan bets so small on the turn. We know that Blake is capable of having a lot of different 8s pre-flop.
Yeah.
Against a nittier pre-flop player, it'd be easier to make this call almost because they would have fewer 8s in their range.
The problem is Blake might bet a queen like this.
I don't think
might,
so.
He might bet missed hearts like this.
I genuinely don't believe Blake is ever betting a worse queen like this, having watched Blake play many times.
You don't think he's going to bet king queen?
I don't, no.
Really?
To get called by what?
You're asking that as if, I mean, I'm talking about each player does their own thing.
Right, I'm saying Blake.
Dan's rolling the dice to decide what to do.
He calls. Good.
The dice
Good
get him
choice.
the right spot.
And I'm saying player-based. Blake is not a guy who bets king queen there. Blake checks back all the time with one pair on the river. All the time.